Hello Voltheads, you are watching the self-proclaimed, sarcastically named Captain KeyForge, also known as PJ Broughton of the Steel City Snufflegators.
And we're still on KOTE 7 at the moment. This is the playoff. We are playing against Better Call KOTE. These are the decks, so I've got the same one as last time. Obviously I managed to get the win with that one, so we can see what that can do. Obviously Mars is especially good in that one, and that's what won the last game. My opponent's got a Worlds Collide deck, and there is some interesting stuff in it. I mean, Quixelstone Fangtooth Cavern is an interesting combo to play against. I've played against it before. It's a challenging combo, especially if you've got low power. And then looking at my power 59, that could be a problem if both of those come out. The Data Forge with the Kirby's Blaster is an interesting one, and as well I'm looking at the creatures, and 2 Kirby's and 2 Edeyes. The Edeyes need to go quickly when they come down, otherwise I'm going to have trouble forging keys. Equally as well, the Kirby's and the house cheating that those are going to provide. We saw how good Val Jericho was. The Kirby's, especially with the Kirby's Blaster, I really could do with getting rid of those as soon as I can when they come down. Going to be a close match, I think. Going to be a tough one, and yeah, we'll see how we go. So here we are in the game now. As you can see, with 7 cards, I'm going to be going first, and I've decided with treasure map in hand, I don't really think it's worth mulliganing. So my turn 1, there we go, turn 1 treasure map, nice easy 4 amber, and still a decent hand for turn 2 with 3 Mars creatures and an upgrade. Then my opponent's gone in Star Alliance, played Kirby, and then played Hologramophone, Transporter Platform, and a Cloaking Dongle, Sense Chief Garcia. So 1, 2, 3, 4 Star Alliance cards and a Logos card now, so 5 cards on turn 1. That is a really good start for my opponent there. Unfortunately, the Relentless Whisper is not going to be able to kill either of those just because they're a little bit too strong. As I'd previously expected, going into the Mars turn, Tunk goes down, and then the upgrade's gone on to Tunk just because it's going to be a bit harder to kill for the others, and then put down the John Smith and Ulik Megamouth, and pass the turn. And I mean, for both of us, that's quite a quick start. I'm 1 off check after 2 turns. My opponent's got 5 cards at hand on turn 1 and got 3 amber. So yeah, I mean, this game's moving along quite quickly at the moment. At the moment my opponent's just deciding what they want to do. I mean, that Transporter Platform and that Kirby, as I said at the intro, the Kirby with the 2 Kirby's, and you know, they are creatures that I really could do with getting shot off early, so I really could do with trying to get rid of that Kirby if I can. So my opponent's gone into Untamed, he's put down Kangafant, put down Roxador, and then passed to me. So obviously now if I reap, destroy a creature, and anything that Roxador fights into is going to get stunned. So unfortunately I can't double fight with Tunk, because I would be able to if Kangafant hadn't come down, because I could have fought with Tunk, then reap with John Smith to ready Tunk again. So that is a little bit annoying, but there's a bit of stuff we can do. I mean, I've played that Irradiated Amber. Obviously I haven't done any damage to any creatures, because my opponent's not got the 6, but it doesn't really make much sense keeping it. Equally, you know, it's got an amber pip, so it's not worth discarding either. So there's Mothership support. I will be able to wipe the Kirby with that, which is good, and I've left the Garcia, so that any sort of damage goes onto that Garcia is now going to go down. I mean, I potentially could have killed the Kangafant and reaped with the Smith to re-ready the Tunk, to get rid of something else, but it would have cost me the Tunk. Also as well, I was a little bit eager to sort of not get rid of it so quickly, so that on the next turn my opponent can't reap unless he wants to start killing all these creatures. So yeah, I am fighting the tunk into the Garcia. Made the slight mistake here because I'm thinking Megamouth is a friendly creature, not a friendly non-Mars creature, and obviously I've not got any non-Mars creatures, so I might have been better putting the Megamouth into Garcia and then the tunk into the Rock Store. That probably would have been a better shout there. And then they'd be one creature down, so that's a mistake there from me. I'm not doing anything with the John Smith because it's not got skirmish, and I'm not going to kill it by reaping with it and lose its effect, or kill it by fighting it into something that, I mean, if he uses that Rock Store for anything now, it's dead. Other than reaping, he can't fight with it into anything, particularly. So yeah, pass the turn there. I'm in check on 7. I mean, my opponent has got some decent answers, so there's probably a good chance he's going to take me off check. But let's see what he goes into on his turn. His turn 3. There we go. So we're going to need to Star Alliance again. I mean, again, he's got the transporter platform, so if he's got some upgrades in hand, he can attach them to possibly a Star Alliance creature and bounce it and then play it back down again, play the upgrades back down again. Could well be worth a look at that also as well. As I said, there was another, I was about to say another Kirby in the deck, so Kirby's come down, Thorium Plasmate to get rid of the John Smith. Then he's played First Officer Frayne. I mean, if he's got another card in hand that Kirby could play, he could transport a platform Kirby back to his hand, play it down again, and then play another card that's not a creature, that's out of house. So there we go, there's transport platform, and he's done it to Frayne. There we go, so he's used Frayne twice there. Frayne's come down and captured one, and then transport platform, and it has brought Frayne back down again and captured another one. So the transport platform there is taking me off check, so that's a good play by my opponent. That's a good. I'm just looking at that Nerblast is handy. It's just a shame we're not going to kill anything. I mean, that was a good shout, and I understand why I've done it, but in this deck, I possibly might have been better doing that to Kirby rather than Frayne. I mean, admittedly, he would have been able to capture 2 again on the next turn, but because of the Kirby's ability is just better than the Frayne, the whole, I mean, with Transport Platform, every time Kirby's in play and he goes for Star Alliance, he can essentially just play 2 cards, or even 3 when Kirby's alive and ready, because he can reap and transport platform it back to hand and play it down again, and that's literally any 2 cards that are not creatures. So I think I should have killed Kirby there rather than Frayne. We'll see how it goes though. So he's put down Eddie, and that's going to increase my key cost. He's played Information Exchange to steal a couple as well. And he's done that twice. So we had 2 Information Exchanges there. So he's played Eddie in 2 Information Exchanges. He's still not on check because of Tunk at the moment. Now he is on check. And now he's not because of Schuler. There we go. Toxin comes down, Tentacus comes down. So at least now for the moment he's going to have to pay me if he wants to use the transporter platform. So he's played down Kirby's Blaster, drawn 2 cards, put down Light of the Archons. I mean, he may fight into the Tentacus to kill the Tentacus, or was he fought into, yeah, fought into Tentacus. Now he'll use the transporter platform. to bring Kirby back to hand, play back down again, play those 2 upgrade cards again, and then he'll draw another 2 cards because of attaching Kirby's blasters to Kirby. So there we go, there's transporter platform. There we go, and Kirby comes down again. So again, that's another 2 cards out of house that are not creatures that are going to be able to come down. So now he's used Layer of the Land to look at the top 3 cards of the deck, and he'll be able to pick whichever one is best for him. Again, probably be having a think about that, deciding which one of those cards is best. There we go, and there's the card he's drawn. Obviously we don't know what it is yet, but potentially going to be playing it. And then he's played Data Forge, which has allowed him to forge a key at a cost of 5 because of all the cards in hand. Then he's played Like of the Archons back onto Kirby. He's discarded Quixelstone, but he's played Fangtooth Cavern, and he's passed it back to me. I am forging a key. But again, that was a decent turn for him. Forged a key at 5 in a good check of 7. So yes, that's put him into a very decent lead. That Fangtooth Cavern as well, that is not ideal, because I mean, if you look at what I've got, the 2 miles, it's going to kill the Megamouth. At least I can get something out of the Squawker. There we go, so now I can reap or fight. So I've gone with the reap, and then I've fought into Kirby. The armour has saved it, because it's 2 power and 2 armour because I like the Archons. And then past the turn, I mean at the start, at the end of his turn, he's going to be killing the Megamouth with Fangtooth Cavern. But equally, you look at what I've got now, and the Carlo Phantom would die anyway just because of Fangtooth Cavern. Or he could possibly, you know, kill the Carlo Phantom with some damage, and then it's the Umbra instead. What I could have done with, if that Soul Satcher had gone down earlier, that would have been really helpful for me, because his Fangtooth Cavern, every time he uses it, oh thank you for that, that's another amber for me. So I really could have done with having that Soul Snatcher come out quite a bit earlier, because he's going to start triggering that Fangtooth Cavern, and I can either let him get a massive board presence and do nothing about it because I go for the Soul Snatcher, then go into the other stuff. Or if I go into the other stuff, by the time I've actually got it down, it'll be pretty worthless. So that coming at that time, you know, it's one of those where I needed that one a lot earlier, and I'd have got a lot of value out of it if I had it done. But yeah, that's disappointing to see that now and not on that previous this turn. Same with the Hecatoon. So there we go, so he's played Morphine, Roxador, Snufflegator, Kangafant, cleaned the hand out a little bit from that Hysteria, Cauldron Boil to kill the damaged Tunk, Fangtooth Cavern to kill the Megamouth. So as I say, I can play Soul Snatcher and then I'll be able to get some value out of my creatures on the next turn, but realistically he could probably just reap for 5, plus maybe have 1 or 2 Untamed cards in hand, and then I'm like, how do I take him off? How do I actually win the game? So yeah, at the moment there I'm just dropping Shadows cards just to try and find something that's going to allow me to steal one besides the too much to protect. I mean, also my opponent knows I've got too much to protect. They know it hasn't come down yet, so they're going to be very wary about jumping up to 7, 8, 9, 10. That's about the only thing that I've got going for me at the moment, that they can't just go for a massive turn and try and punish me with a high solid check, because it's like, ah, there we go, too much to protect, that gets me back in the game. So they're being conscious of that, but equally I need to chain myself with it. They've played Pampacker, Anger and Jagger, one at one side, one at the other side. The one at this side's going to do +2 power to everything, and that is going to even make the Fangtooth Cavern even more potent and make it even better for him. Yeah, I mean, if I'd had that 3 fates last turn, 3 fates and Soul Snatcher, 3 fates to get rid of the Kirby, and then the Soul Snatcher, and then put down the Shadow stuff. I mean, again, really, he can just clear that Shadows box. He's got enough Untamed. Essentially now he's probably going to play the long game, and every time I put creatures down, just kill them and leave himself in check on 6 every turn, because that is what I would do. I'm like, right, I'm on 6, can you take me off for 1? I'm on 6, until I essentially run out of Amber control, because he's got 2 keys to play the long game and do that to me for. There we go. So he's killed the Yancy Gang, the Umbra, reaped 6. He'll let the Carlo Phantom die to the Fangtooth Cavern, and then he'll pass the turn to me and go, right, can you take 1? I know too much to protect isn't going to do anything for you. So yeah, as I say, that 3 fates, if that had been in hand on the last turn, I would have gone Dis, not Shadows. So that you know, the Soul Snatchers come 1 or 2 turns too late. The 3 fates has come 1 or 2 turns too late. I mean, there's a gateway to Dis in here somewhere. Not had it yet. So yeah, not ideal. I mean, obviously the only way I can stay in the game here is Mind Warper, Squawker, action, capture 1 from your own side. But again, then unless I get something that can take 1 away on the next turn, I'm still going to lose on the next turn. I mean, again, he can't burst up much, but because he knows I've got too much to protect. So too much to protect is it's worth the chain. It's worth holding it in your hand for turn after turn after turn, because it's like, ha, you can't go over 6, ha, you can't go over 6, oh, you still can't go over 6, because you know I've got too much to protect, and you know I'm just going to have it all off you if you do. So it's worth the chain from too much to protect, but we've got into a situation now where unless I draw the right cards, unless I start to get lucky with my draw and be drawing the right cards, then I've got no chance. I mean, again, I've got nothing there that's going to take 1 away, because the Relentless Whispers, there's going to be nothing to kill at power 2. So that's the game. There's you know, I mean, that control 3 fates, control the weak, Soul Snatcher. That's the type of turn that can, you know, that'll turn the game. That type of hand. 3 or 4 turns earlier. At this stage, that control the weak is bloody useless. You know what I mean? It's going to do nothing. Neither's the 3 fates. Yeah, I've got my creature control. I got the worst creature control in the deck against his deck, because the Hysteria's just helped him forge the key cheaply off the back of Data Forge. If that was gateway to this rather than Hysteria, that would make a massive difference in the game. If it was 3 fates rather than Hysteria, again, massive difference in the game. So the creature control that's in this, unfortunately, I've drawn it at the wrong time. my opponent's played his deck very well in terms of what he's done with the Kirby and the Kirby's blasters and things like that, so he's played a really good game there. Equally, I possibly should have killed the Kirby instead of the Garcia. Even then though, he still would have had the chance for the layered land, and he still would have had a big hand when that Data Forge came out into his hand, because of the Hysteria. So yeah, it's going to be 3 keys to 1. I mean, it's disappointing. I'm always very disappointed when I don't get a second key. That's always really disappointing, because it's not even a close game when you don't get the second key. It's not even been a close game. But also as well, the lack of artifact control. Out of all, I mean, this isn't one of mine, but out of all the top 5 I've got, 3 of them have got artifact control and good proper, that Fangtooth Cavern's dead artifact control, but the other 2, they're lots of fun, but they haven't. And this is why a lot of people, because that Fangtooth Cavern is just the straw that's breaking the camel's back of allowing him to clear my board every single turn. So yeah, there we go. So that's it. So yeah, as I say, this would absolutely kill him for a turn, but it's too late because I can't stop him forging. So, I mean, I've got to say, well played to my opponent again, because he's played that really well. I've lost that game. Unfortunately, as a team, the blue player won, but the captain lost, so we lost that game 2-1. Again, with the KOTE, I'm not sure where that leaves us in terms of, are we out of the competition or are we still playing? I'm not sure. If there is another KOTE game, fine. It'll get recorded, put on the channel. You can see how we go. And if not, then we'll be back for the KOTE 8, which is a SAS increase tournament where you start with a specific SAS. I think it was 60, and then you're going to be going up by 2 each time, so then 62 and then 64. So that one will be interesting. Yeah, well played to my opponent there and his team. Good luck to them.
Thanks for watching, so feel free to like and subscribe. I love comments and criticism, so please feel free to leave those. I'll hope to see you next time, but until then, may the forge be with you.